Well, welcome back. The largest association of Dallas police officers is calling for changes, citing really bad morale in the ranks. Dallas Police Association President Ron Pinkston is with us here. I've known a lot of cops, and I've known a lot of unhappy cops, and you do too. I mean, like in our business, just like your business, people tend to grouse a lot, don't they?
There's usually a small group that you always hear complain or have issues.
But you try to be scientific about this and actually put out a survey to your membership.
Yeah, in July, we conducted a survey of our officers, and what we found was alarming. 80% of them, their morale was as low as it's ever been since they've been a police officer. And that set up off alarms for us, and we had to do something about it.
So you come up with an action plan that has 10 points that the chief could address. And now the chief is a guy who grew up on the streets. He started as a patrol officer, right?
Correct.
So do you have his ear? Do you have his sympathy? Do you think you have his support?
Well, we've been working with him on several of these issues in the 10-point reform plan. But we wanted to be part of the solution. We wanted to fix the morale, and we wanted to bring back more public's trust towards officers. Right. And that's why we did the reform plan.
Well, let's talk about some of those 10 points. One of them is the use of force policy, and there have been just and I'm sure even to you, a shocking number of incidents in which officers have not had a choice. They have had to use deadly force, and some of them putting their own lives at risk as they do every day.
Well, over the last 10 years, we're keeping up with the average of what we have been doing. There's more, officers are being assaulted more and more each day than they have in the past, and they're being forced to use deadly force. But the problem we have with the deadly force policy that the Dallas Police Department has, it leaves it up to interpretation. And we can't have interpretation. Officers can't hesitate when they have to use deadly force. They have to react. It's a split-second decision they're having to make, and they can't be second-guessing that.
Well, here's what Chief Brown says. It says it's his desire to work with all of the groups, the 7 associations, I believe, but also he has an obligation to maintain the public's trust and confidence. So he's kind of caught in the middle there, because he has citizens out there who say we don't necessarily trust those officers are wisely using the powers they have.
Well, if you look at our 10-point reform plan, we brought in what we thought to help the public as far as transparency and ethics and reform it. So we thought about the public's trust, and we want to increase that. Our goal is to make the Dallas Police Department the best police department in the country and to serve the citizens of Dallas. And that's why we developed this reform plan.
So use of force, what's another one near the top, at or near the top of your list?
Well, we have ethics reform, transparency throughout the department. Right now, if you file open records with the city of Dallas, it might take 4 months. State law says 10 days. Yeah. And if there's a transfer outside the guidelines, you need to be transparent in all facets. We need to know why you didn't follow the guidelines. The public needs to know what is happening in their police department, not just what they want us to know, but everything.
One of the things that you haven't mentioned here, I had to ask you about it, was pay. And the Dallas Police Department is probably a little embarrassed by starting pay for an officer.
Yeah, we have the lowest pay in the Metroplex, and we continue to battle that, but we have a meet and confer agreement. We've come to an agreement with the city, and it's good for another 2 years. Mm-hmm. And then we'll be in negotiations again. Well,
you're competing all the time with every other department in the city. You're competing for pothole money, basically, for operating funds. But police and firefighters at least have been a priority. You've gotten regular pay raises while other city employees have been frozen out.
Well, we were frozen for 4 years during the hard times of the city. The pay steps that were promised officers weren't given. But we know public safety is the #1 concern of the citizens of Dallas. And so we continue to fight for them and fight for the raises so we can get the best officers possible that are candidates to be police officers.
Really quickly, Craig Watkins, the district attorney, put out recently posted on his Facebook page a list of suggestions for how to deal with a police officer if you have an encounter. I'm not going to say a confrontation with a police officer. What were your thoughts on that? Did you feel like he's on the other side?
Well, in our opinion, the DA's job is to prosecute criminals and not help criminals get off and give them advice on how to avoid being arrested. So yeah, there's a lot of officers have issues with what he put out on his Facebook.
Okay. Thanks very much. We'll stay tuned to what's going on and also talk of the 7 associations perhaps merging into one, which I know a lot of people would give you certainly much louder voice at City Hall as well. Thanks very much, Ron.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.